Hey everyone, so you're here because you know trading is way more than just looking at charts and picking a strategy, right? It's a total mental game. And today, we're going to break down the single most important part of being a consistently profitable trader, your mindset. All right, next trader community. I want to start with a question that really gets to the core of everything we do. Just ask yourself honestly, are you trading with your mind or is your mind trading you? Because believe me, how you answer that changes the entire game.
Because here's the thing. Here's the simple truth that separates the pros from everybody else. It's not some secret strategy. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. The real difference between winning and losing boils down to one simple word: psychology.
Okay, so let's really get into this. To win, you've got to know who you're actually up against. And spoiler alert, it's probably not who you think it is.
You know, most new traders, they see the battle as them against the market. They're trying to outsmart the charts, to beat this big, faceless opponent. But the seasoned pros, they get it. They know the real fight is internal. It's never you versus the market. It's always you versus you.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's what traders talk about every single day. One user, Six String Dream, put it perfectly. It's your own brain you are fighting, and the game changes a bit. The second you really truly understand that, everything shifts. So, if the battle is happening inside your own head, let's go ahead and meet the main opponents. These are the emotions that just love to hijack our trading plans and turn a perfectly good strategy into a string of impulsive, costly mistakes. And first up, of course, is the big one: fear. Look, fear is a survival instinct. It's totally natural. But in trading, it is a portfolio killer. It's that little voice whispering in your ear, making you doubt every single thing you've learned.
And the tricky thing about fear is how it shows up in completely opposite ways. It can make you freeze up on a perfect entry, or it can make you panic and grab a tiny profit just moments before a huge move. But what's really wild is it can also make you hold on to a losing trade for dear life. That's the sunk cost effect in action, all because you're terrified to just accept the loss.
Now, on the flip side of that emotional coin, we've got greed. If fear makes you timid, well, greed makes you reckless. It's that voice that's always telling you, come on, just a little more, let it ride.
And this is exactly how greed can blow up a perfectly solid trading plan. It convinces you to hold a winning trade for so long that it actually turns into a loser. It tempts you to keep pushing your take-profit target higher and higher. And worst of all, it leads to over-trading, risking way too much capital just to chase that one massive score.
And finally, let's talk about the sneakiest, most subtle enemy of them all: your ego. Now, ego doesn't feel like fear or greed, but man, it is just as destructive. It's that part of you that just needs to be right.
And this hits on a really critical point. The market does not care if you're right. It only pays you when you're profitable. See, your ego wants to be right. It can't handle a loss because it feels like a personal failure. And that's when you start ignoring your stop loss, or worse, doubling down on a bad trade, all to avoid admitting you are wrong. So we've met the enemies: fear, greed, ego. How in the world do we fight back? Well, it's not with some fancy new indicator. It's with something so much more powerful. It's discipline. Because at the end of the day, discipline is your strategy. A professional trader's approach isn't built on luck or hope. It's built on a rock-solid foundation of discipline. And their toolkit has 3 essential components. You got to create hard rules for yourself, you got to keep a super detailed journal, and you absolutely have to master your risk on every single trade. And we're not talking about some vague guidelines here. As another trader, Xander Dogs, put it, you need to create a list of hard, concrete rules that you are never allowed to break. Think of these rules as your firewall. They're what protect you from your own emotional impulses.
Next up, your trading journal. Please, don't think of this as some kind of diary. Think of it as your personal performance database. This is the tool that takes wishful thinking and turns it into cold, hard reality. This is how we live out our motto at Next Trader: data always beats feelings. And this journal? This is where your data lives.
So what actually goes in it? Well, the basics are your entry plan, your predefined risk level, your profit target, and, this is the most important part, your methodology. You have to write down the why behind the trade. Just doing that simple act holds you accountable and forces you to stick to the plan, instead of trading on a whim.
Okay, but building this kind of discipline, it's not a one-and-done thing. It's a daily process. It is about actively training your brain
every single day to think and act like a professional.
You know, here's a really powerful way to look at it. The market is basically a giant mirror. It reflects the collective psychology of every single person trading, and that includes you. So if you want to master the markets, guess what? You've got to master your own mind first. So, here are some real practical brain training tips straight from the Next Trader playbook. 1. Always start your day with a pre-market checklist. 2. If you take a loss, just walk away. No revenge trades. That's a non-negotiable rule in our community. 3. Do an end-of-day review and share what you learned. And finally, practice on a sim account until your process becomes completely automatic. You want discipline to be your default setting. All right, let's wrap this up and bring it all home. The journey to becoming a consistently successful trader, it really starts and ends with just one person.
First, you have to accept this one fundamental truth. You cannot control the market. You can't force it to do what you want no matter how great your analysis is. It's just not possible.
But the one thing you have 100% absolute control over is yourself. Your choices, your discipline, your reactions. That, right there, that's where your real power as a trader comes from.
Look, the market's going to be there tomorrow. It's ready, with all its chaos and all its opportunity. The only question is, are you? So let's actually do something about it. Here's a little community challenge for you. Before the market opens next, I want you to write down your top 3 emotional triggers. Maybe it's FOMO, maybe it's greed when a trade is going your way. Whatever they are, write them down and share them in the Next Trader group. Because at Next Trader, we train the brain first, because we know that's how the profits follow. Stay disciplined, stay consistent, stay Next Trader.